and oxygen. This ozone protects us from UV radiation, and we need it. In the lower part of the atmosphere where we breathe, ozone is harmful. Here it is formed by heat and sunlight reacting with two classes of air pollutants, volatile organic compounds, VOCs, and nitrous oxides, NOx. These are supplied by things like car exhaust and factories. And in a small closet inside a small room at Government Canyon, this detection equipment has a big role in monitoring ozone. It's one of 25 monitoring sites the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, uses to measure the health of our air. The maintenance of these sites and the interpretation of this data falls under ACOG, or the Alamo Area Council of Governments. Each site measuring
Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Funding for revamped facilities on the east side to pave way for year-round rodeo-style events, plus funding for a downtown Spurs arena. Props A and B have been pushed as a pair by supporters. But what happens if at the ballot box, the results are split between yes and no?
And temperatures are going to be a little spooky as we get into Halloween. I'll give you your trick-or-treating forecast coming up.
Plus, our neighbors in the Texas Hill Country will be picking up the pieces for a long time after the deadly July 4th flooding. Why one man in Center Point needed a lift literally before he could start rebuilding.
And red hot, the Spurs are off to one of their best starts to the season in franchise history. And they'll look to build on that winning streak tonight against the Miami Heat. Larry Ramirez has your game day preview. Thanks for joining us. I'm Myra Arthur.
And I'm Ernie Zuniga. So we're down to a little less than 1 hour and 1 day left for early voting before the November 4th election next Tuesday. Props A and B, of course, are the big draw here in Bexar County.
A lot of people know they're asking voters about using and raising the county venue tax for a rodeo-related project and a new Spurs arena. They've been presented as a pair, but Garrett Berger tried to get answers on what happens if there is a split result.
Exactly. So he's joining us live right now from the Frost Bank Center. And I know, Garrett, you tried and tried. What were you able to find out?
Well, I think to start off, we know that the hotel portion of that venue tax will go up if at least one of these props passes, since it's in both of the language. But the big question I had is what happens to these county-owned East Side facilities, where both the Spurs and the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo call home. But no matter what the results are, the November 4th election, the head of the rodeo tells us that their plans remain roughly the same.
The primary plan with Props A and B is a two-step. If both pass, the Spurs can move to a downtown arena partially built by county money from Prop B. Well, the Stock Show and Rodeo can drive in year-round rodeo-style events on the Coliseum grounds in updated and new buildings funded by the county venue tax under Prop A. But if Prop A passes and not B, the head of the rodeo, Cody Davenport, still expects to take center court at the county's east side facilities.
You know, we have commitment from Judge Sakai, Prop A passes, that we would become the anchor tenant going forward.
And even if voters don't approve money to revamp the grounds with Prop A, Davenport expects to expand their presence.
For sure. We do more year-round operations. It would just be disappointing in the point that we could not bring in some of those higher-end events that truly are going to spur, you know, the activity down there for the east side.
And that goes for whether the Spurs get county funding for an arena or not.
I can't speak on behalf of the Spurs, right?
Okay, right.
But I would say I think it's pretty safe to say that they're not staying there. They publicly stated that.
A spokesman for the county judge said he was unavailable to speak today, but he said this about a possible split result when he appeared on KSAT earlier this week.
All those options have not been fully vetted as to what realities and what opportunities can come out of whatever the elections result. But we have to respect the voters and their decisions in this election.
Judge's spokesman also told us the next time a venue tax proposition could be brought to voters is next November.
A Spurs spokeswoman declined to comment on the possibility of a split result between props A and B, beyond saying in a text that the Spurs were focused on getting both props passed and, quote, as Peter has said, there is not a plan B. She's referring to Spurs managing partner Peter J. Holt there. Now, she did not respond to our follow-up attempt to get a confirmation on whether the Spurs do intend that whatever happens to not stay at the Frost Bank Center. Now, early voting continues tomorrow, and Election Day, of course, November 4th. Outside the Frost Bank Center, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right,
Garrett, thank you.
And the Spurs are there tonight. We know that. So Larry will have more on that in just a little bit. In the meantime, a local pantry is prepared to help fill the gap when funding for the SNAP Food Assistance Program runs out this Saturday.
Inner city development regularly helps fill the stomachs of people in need. Now, because of the ongoing federal government shutdown, the staff at the Westside Food Pantry expect there could soon be even more people looking for help.
Patty Radel, who oversees Inner City, says people in the community have come through in a big way in the past to help keep the facility going, but she's not sure whether that help will continue to be enough.
We've been lucky here. People have been generous, and it's saying, can you be a little more generous? You're already a generous person. Can you help a little more?
Radel got a chance today to show off the food pantry to Congressman Joaquin Castro.
Now, the Democratic leader called on Republicans in Congress to end the shutdown. Meanwhile, Republican Senator John Cornyn and Congressman Tony Gonzalez each issued written statements saying Democrats are the holdouts in this stalemate.
We'll continue to follow whatever happens. All right, Shelby, talking about this cool snap that we're experiencing and wondering just how low temperatures are going to go next.
Well, I mean, the good news is we're not expecting temperatures to get as low as what we saw this morning. Today was widespread temperatures in the 30s and 40s. Even then, Fredericksburg had frost on the ground. They got to 32 degrees, which is freezing. Other areas near Junction got to 28. We had Comfort get to 31. San Antonio only got to about 40 degrees, but that's still chilly for most of us. In fact, today we beat a record. Today was the coolest morning we've seen since back in April 8th. That's over 200 days for us in San Antonio. Now, right now, temperatures are still sitting in the 70s and 60s. Seeing that slight wind still make it feel just a degree or two shorter. But most of us are going to see these temperatures quickly decrease. Once that sun really starts to set, we're going to lose some of that daytime heating, and Halloween is tomorrow. Now, we are still expecting temperatures to be similar, but once that sun goes down, some kiddos might want those light jackets because it is going to get to the 60s and even the 50s, and we're still seeing the low humidity and temperatures at 70 degrees by sunset. But I'll give you a look at your future cast of what all you can expect for Halloween, plus a small chance of rain we're seeing in San Antonio this weekend coming up in just a bit.
Hi, Shelby. Thank you. Now to the latest developments on a story that KSAT investigates first broke last month. The city of Uvalde is trying to block the release of records related to the death of a congressional staffer for Congressman Tony Gonzalez.
Uvalde police say that Regina Santos Aviles died last month after catching fire in her own backyard while she was alone. They've been investigating along with the Texas Rangers. Our KSAT Investigates team has asked for copies of the 911 calls, police reports, and body camera footage.
Now, in a letter sent to the Attorney General's office, the city of Uvalde argued that should be kept private, which Santos Aviles' husband agrees with. The city's attorneys say that it's publicly known Santos Aviles died from self-inflicted injuries.
The Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed today they are still working to figure out the cause and manner of her death. Incorrect information in an arrest affidavit. That was at the center of today's testimony in the trial for 3 former San Antonio police officers accused of killing a woman in her apartment in 2023. The lead detective in this case, Ronald Soto, took the stand for a 4th day in a row. In Soto's arrest affidavit, he wrote that Melissa Perez was near the hallway of her apartment when officers shot her. But body camera video from one of the officers showed that she was walking toward those officers with a hammer at that time. During the defense's questioning, Soto admitted that he was wrong when he wrote the arrest affidavit. If found guilty, Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Flores, and Nathaniel Villalobos all face up to life in prison. And KSAT is live streaming this trial, and you can watch it on all of our streaming platforms. Testimony is expected to continue tomorrow morning.
All right, so how rare is it for a police officer who was on duty to be charged with murder? One local expert tells us it is rare and even more rare to be convicted. St. Mary's law professor Sigrid Vendrell Polanco says roughly 1,000 people are killed by police officers every year in the United States. Of that, around 2% of those killings result in criminal charges, and fewer than 1% lead to convictions. The reason all has to do with the high legal standard a prosecution has to meet.
Prosecution has to prove that it was objectively reasonable actions by the police officer, and that that no other officer would have acted in the exact same way. That's an extraordinarily high standard.
Now, as the Melissa Perez case continues, she says it will be interesting to see how the jury will decide in this case, as that decision could set precedent for future cases. Well, Halloween, of course, is tomorrow, and law enforcement is reminding parents to be vigilant.
That's after Schertz police say that a 10-year-old girl was approached by a man she did not know who asked the girl to walk with him. The child was able to get help from a neighbor, and Schertz police say they are investigating this. Schertz PD and San Antonio police want parents to be hyper aware of surroundings and practice all the usual safety tips.
Plan your route. Stick to well-lit streets and familiar neighborhoods. Be visible. Carry flashlights, glow sticks, or add some type of reflective to the costumes.
We'd also want to advise to not let your children go too far. Keep a close distance between them to prevent anything from potentially happening.
So both officers also say there can be safety in being in a group. They advise taking a picture of your trick-or-treating group before you set out so that you know what your kids are wearing and what they look like, and you know how many people are supposed to be in that group.
Recover and rebuild after the historic Hill Country floods. That is the goal of a nonprofit in Centerpoint. And with their help, a man's home in the floodplain is standing at new heights now.
Yes, our Sarah Acosta spoke with the homeowner whose house was razed so he can continue to rebuild it after it was destroyed in the July 4th floods.
Let's do it.
A new path forward for Mike Blackledge, whose Centerpoint home had the Guadalupe River rush through it the morning of July 4th.
I've been here for quite a few years, and I've had the water high enough where I could kayak under my house, but I've never had it come through it. It broke through the backside of the house and started coming through and just washed through the house.
Mike was able to get out in time, but he lost everything.
Furniture, clothing, appliances. I lost one of my cats. I lost virtually everything that wasn't 3 feet off the ground was ruined.
He has not been able to get the permits to start the rebuild process until his property has been raised above the floodplain. But today, a new start. After a Centerpoint Foundation, Annie's Helping Hands raised over $17,000 for Mike's home to be elevated by another 3 feet. Are you excited?
I am.
I can tell.
I'm a builder by trade, so this is real exciting for me.
Mike has lived on the property for 30 years, and he has been eager to get back in, and even more eager to start the rebuild process. Annie's Helping Hands has made that possible. The foundation hopes to help more homes in Centerpoint do the same, as the nonprofit hopes to raise more money to continue to give back. For Mike, he says there is nothing like the community of Centerpoint, how everyone has come together to help heal and rebuild.
I've had a tremendous amount, of community support, and it's been overwhelming at times.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
Glad he got quite literally the lift.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, a fight has been brewing over rainbow crosswalks in San Antonio. That's after the governor said they need to go. Still ahead here on the news at 6, how those who oppose that directive are saying not so fast. A quick programming note here. The TV provider YouTube TV and our affiliate network ABC are in a contract dispute, and they've indicated to KSAT 12 that the ABC programming will not be available on YouTube TV after 10:59 p.m. tonight. We wanted to let you know of this development between these two businesses.
Now, to be clear, KSAT 12 does not have any say in this matter. All of our newscasts will be continued to be streamed on the free KSAT Plus app on your smart TV or mobile device. If you watch KSAT 12 on something other than YouTube TV, you will not be affected. And this does not affect any clips or shows from KSAT 12 that you might watch on YouTube.
Now, it is possible that both ABC and YouTube TV could reach an agreement at any point, and we will keep you updated.
Okay, well, let's get you updated on what's happening outside, at least on one of the cameras, and slow going by the quarry. At least it looks nice outside, and I think it feels pretty good out there, but these people are obviously stuck in some traffic right now. Rush hour on this Thursday, Halloween Eve, so we'll continue to keep an eye on all the roads for you and let you know if anything changes.
Well, they are in the crosshairs of Governor Greg Abbott. Rainbow crosswalks. The governor wants them removed, calling them political signage. But right now, those who oppose that directive are gathering at those crosswalks on Main Street to make their voices heard.
And that is where we find our Zaria Oates, who's joining us live right now. And Zaria, we understand that a walk is underway in support of the crosswalk.
Hey guys, yeah, we're just out here at the intersection of Main and Evergreen, where we're in the middle of those crosswalks. This whole intersection here is blocked off, and the goal here is to make sure that their voices are heard, that the LGBTQ plus community in San Antonio is heard. This all comes after a directive from Governor Greg Abbott that came after a directive from the federal government to remove any artwork in crosswalks across Texas cities and counties. Now, people have been fighting here for a while, and tonight is just the start of some of this fight. There are dozens of people here already. This event only started about 15 minutes ago. People are already packing into this intersection. We'll be here the rest of the night, but the goal here is to push back, to have the city of San Antonio, to have local leaders here make sure that they're fighting for the LGBTQ plus community, to have things like their crosswalks staying in place. They also say that this is a slippery slope, that this is something that is starting with their rainbow crosswalks, but could end up being something else and being a bigger issue. We have been speaking with leaders here with the LGBTQ plus community. There are also local leaders here, like representatives from City Council District 6. And so we will make sure to keep you updated on exactly what happens here tonight and what the outcome is of this event. Live in the Pride District, I'm Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Zaria, thank you. Look outside with live cam. Long sleeves out there, hoodies out there, jackets out there. You're going to need them this evening, Shelby.
You are. And I mean, everyone's been wanting the fall weather, and it's finally here. And just in time for Halloween. I mean, we're not expecting triple digit or even the 90s for Halloween, just like what we saw last year for Halloween. Now, today, we are still seeing temperatures in the 70s, 71 degrees for us here in the Alamo City. But throughout the next few hours, the temperature is expected to cool very quickly once the sun decreases. And in fact, all of this cooler air is because of that cold front that came through Tuesday afternoon and really pushed in some of that cooler Canadian air on Wednesday morning as we were waking up in the 50s. Now, most of us across the country are waking up in or having our peak temperature still in the 50s to the 40s, and even then 52 degrees in Denver. But here's one thing I want to talk about. When we're seeing these cooler mornings, it's mostly because we're seeing those clear skies at night. Now, normally when we see at least a little bit of that cloud coverage overnight into the morning hours, we're at least waking up with our temperatures a little on the warmer side because the clouds trap all the heat. So they act like a mini blanket to keep all of the warmer temperatures underneath compared to the clear skies we've been seeing. Really, all of that cool air is really allowed to escape the atmosphere and really near the surface. But when you get those strong winds like what we saw Tuesday night into Wednesday, yes, some of that stronger wind is going to bring in some of that cooler air from the north, but when the wind and the air mix together, it really is also hard for any of the air to really escape. Now, we are still going to see the clear skies throughout the next few mornings, which will really allow our temperatures to stay in the 50s and the 40s, 49 degrees on Monday and Tuesday morning as kids are going out to school. Even then, for tomorrow, for Halloween, you're waking up in the 40s, 43 degrees for us here in San Antonio, 40 degrees in Fredericksburg. We're not expecting another area or more temperatures to get below freezing. It will be very isolated if we see anything, but it will be eerily nice tomorrow evening for Halloween. Yes, temperatures are still going to be in the mid 70s, but that low humidity, our temperatures are going to be quickly cooling. It might be a little bone chilling for some, but temperatures still sitting in the 60s. Now, after tomorrow for Halloween, what we're watching is on Saturday, just to the north of us in North Texas near Oklahoma, we're watching a weak cool front moving through. Now, normally cool fronts either give us some colder temperatures or give us some rain. And what we're watching is for us to give another quick splash and dash of some showers on Saturday, but we're not expecting a big washout. Most of the showers will still be well to the north near the Red River, and it will get closer to San Antonio, but it's going to be disorganized. So you don't have to cancel any of your afternoon plans on Saturday afternoon. Just keep in mind, you might want to watch that Weather Authority radar for a quick possibility of a shower. Only a 20% chance of showers for San Antonio as we fall back Saturday night into Sunday. Want to make sure you remember for your ovens, your microwaves, your clocks. As we continue to see the temperatures seem a little more fall-like for the mornings, finally rebounding back to the 80s next week on Wednesday and Thursday.
Thank you, Shelby.
Okay, very good. Spurs back in action later on tonight. And I mean, Wemby gets a lot of the love, obviously, but he's had a lot of help so far.
Yeah, and Dylan Harper, the rookie, is one of those young men that's helping Wemby out a lot. And, you know, Harper just has this uncanny ability to get to the rim. His head coach talks about how that reminds him of another professional athlete. And Sark has some updates for us on Manning and Taft ahead of their big showdown Saturday coming up.
Yeah, definitely important for me. Just get my body back under me, so definitely important.
Thanks to an off week, Owen McCown is feeling better ahead of the Roadrunners Thursday night game in big board sports. From UTSA football to Spurs and high school football, it's a busy night here in San Antonio. The 4-0 Spurs will host the Heat in a little over an hour from now, and San Antonio is looking for their first ever 5-0 start in franchise history. Rookie Dylan Harper is off to a nice start, averaging 14.8 points per game this season. Now, after their last win, head coach Mitch Johnson likened Harper to an NFL running back because of his ability to find a small crease and score.
I mean, I did play running back when I was younger, so it might be a little bit of that. But I think just finding holes, just trying to pick my spots and just go whatever the open spot is.
He's got the skills for sure. The Spurs will host the Heat tonight at 7:30. In college football, Jeff Traylor and his Roadrunners will face Tulane at the Alamo Dome tonight at 6:30. The Green Wave are 3-0 in the American, while UTSA is 1-2 in conference. Roadrunners quarterback Owen McCown says their record isn't good enough and that his play needs to improve.
Like I said, probably same deal, not good enough. Obviously I'm striving to be, a lot better than what I put out there, and I know I can be. It's only a matter of time. I don't really let, any past performance affect me, or at least I try not to, whether it's good or bad. I kind of, we have to put it past us because it's, in the past. So I look forward to the next game. Obviously I have a lot of confidence in myself, but ultimately a lot of confidence in the team around us. So definitely excited for the opportunity.
Texas Longhorns quarterback Arch Manning continues to improve, but he's still in concussion protocol. Arch suffered a concussion Saturday in the Horns' 45-38 overtime win at Mississippi State and left the game in overtime after his head hit the ground. Manning and defensive back Michael Taff, who had surgery last week for a broken thumb, are both on the comeback trail. If Arch can't go Saturday, then Matt Caldwell will get the starting nod.
Both Arch and Michael practiced again today. I don't have anything beyond for Arch, just because we have to follow the protocol of the days and the reps. But Arch is making good progress as well as Michael. I know that as coaches and his teammates have the utmost confidence and respect for Matt Caldwell. He performs really well. I know you guys have a very small sample size of what you see in game, but he gives us a ton of confidence in the way that he practices every day, the way that he works. Naturally, he's been thrown into the fire here a couple different times in SEC play and has performed very well. So the game plan is the game plan, and I think that all of his teammates have a ton of confidence in Matt if it's his time to go.
We have an SEC football triple header this Saturday. Number 9 Vandy will play at number 20 Texas at 11 a.m. 5th-ranked Georgia and unranked Florida kick off at 2:30 p.m. And the nightcap will have number 18 Oklahoma at number 14 Tennessee. And you can watch all 3 games live on KSAT 12. ESPN Sports Center was on campus at UTSA today ahead of their American Conference game at the Dome. The kick's coming up here shortly at 6:30. We'll show you what went down streaming at 7 o'clock on KSAT Sports Now.
All right, Larry.
All right. They had a nice crowd out there. So
they did.
Very good. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, up next, we are talking Puro picks for the
Yeah!
We'll be right back.
Larry approves. Okay, we're back with Puro Picks, and we believe Stephanie Guerra is with us here. She bears a resemblance.
It looks like her. The laugh sounds like her. I think it's her.
I'm here in spirit.
In the Halloween spirit, that's for sure. We got a lot to talk about. Halloween weekend coming up and beyond. You always give us the rundown of all the cool local events. So let's start with Hallow Swing.
It's going to be such a fun weekend. Halloween's on a Friday night this year. We're excited. And Hallow Swing is actually tonight. So if you have time, get ready. Head down to the Rah Rah Room, which is a venue on San Pedro near North Star Mall. And the Dirty River Jazz Band is having Hallow Swing. So swing music, it's going to be a lot of fun. Dancing, you got time because the show doesn't start until 8 o'clock. But it's a new venue that's owned by the owners of Bang Bang Bar right across the street.
Okay.
So a lot of fun. And then the Dirty River Jazz Band always, they bring the party. So it's lively. And that's going to be a lot of fun. You could still make it. Tickets only start at $10. So a great pre-Hallows Eve night party.
There's so much going on in San Antonio tonight. Okay, very good. Moving on to tomorrow, which obviously is Halloween, going to be a busy night. And I just love, if nothing else, the name of this, Noche de Cucuy.
That's what I like too. I wanted to make sure to include that because you don't see that very often unless it's like your grandma telling you.
That's,
right?
I have heard that before.
Yes. So Viaje, they're a local DJ collective. They are bringing a new night to a very historic venue. So Cruz Blanca is the venue, but it used to be home to the historic Keyhole Club, which I know KSAT has featured so many times. One of the first integrated clubs in San Antonio. So it's a very historic place. And there is a cumbia party tomorrow night. And it is actually not going to be super scary because it's all ages. So it's $5 for adults and kids are free. But 6 p.m. to midnight, you can go relive a part of San Antonio history. And maybe some people will be visiting you. So
wait a
if there's
minute.
any ghosts of the Keyhole
That's the
Club
Cucuy part right there. Okay.
But I think it'll be fun. They can dance together. It'll be a lot of fun.
There you go. Okay. This next celebration is huge in San Antonio.
Yes, absolutely.
Diwali, San Antonio.
Yes, and I know, KSAT, everybody does a great job of talking about it, but I feel like we all have to talk about it every year. So Diwali is in Arneson Theater and Hemisphere Saturday night. It's getting to be almost as big as Muertos Fest and the other celebrations. You get to see entertainment, dance, food, and vendors from all parts of India. India is a massive place, and there are all different regions, and you get to see that represented in Diwali here in San Antonio. And I just love the event. It's free, it's family friendly. They always end the night with beautiful fireworks and light displays, and it's not going to be any different this weekend. And I know we're going to have great weather to enjoy that.
Get you a henna tattoo. I mean,
Yes.
I've done that before.
I always shop there, no matter what.
the
I
food.
shop there, and the food, yes.
Very good. Okay, but wait, there's more. We just had Muertos Fest, obviously, in Hemisphere last weekend, but Dia de los Muertos and that time of year is upon us here,
Yes.
so there are more events to celebrate.
Officially, Dia de los Muertos, the holidays are this weekend, right? November 1st and 2nd. So there's a local group called Eterno Estilo, and they put on Barrio Muertos Fest, which I love this twist on Dia de los Muertos. So it is like growing up in the barrio. It's got really amazing lowriders that are decorated for Dia de los Muertos. They've got ofrendas. It's at Jaime's Place, so it's a great space for the community to come together in the west side of San Antonio. It is in the evening, so a lot of nighttime dancing, lights. They'll have art market, vendors, but it's a very puro event. And they just keep growing every year, and I love to see this event continue to invite more people to experience the west side of San Antonio. So don't miss Barrio Muertos.
I was just going to jump in real quick because I know in all of your research and influencing over the years, to be clear, nobody does Dia de los Muertos like San Antonio, correct? Around the country.
100%. We have collectively the largest celebration in the country. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'll ask Visit San Antonio.
It's got to be up there.
But yeah, outside of Mexico, we have celebrations at all of our cultural organizations, and then people just celebrate at home with their families.
Right.
Last weekend was just amazing to see all of the handmade costumes and clothing that people were wearing. And I like all of the different representations. So I appreciate that the Barrio Muertos Fest is a little bit different in 78207, right? We got to keep it real over there.
Puro.
Yes.
And we also have La Vida de los Muertos.
Yes, I really like this event at the Guadalupe. So they do celebrate Dia de los Muertos with an event on Saturday, but on Sunday they celebrate La Vida de los Muertos. So it's a different twist on that. It's in Plaza Guadalupe. A lot of people still, I feel like, don't frequent Plaza Guadalupe as often, but it's a beautiful outdoor round plaza. They're going to have the Guadalupe Dance Company, the Dance Academy, and Music Academies from the Guadalupe, and it's free from 6 to 8:30. So you can take your family, take your chairs, go out there and celebrate life. And so it's a little bit different display of muertos. If you look on the Guadalupe's website and social media, you'll see these beautiful pictures. It really is a performance, a play and storytelling at this event. But there is no shortage of Dia de los Muertos and Halloween events and Diwali events this weekend. So I think this is the best time of year. All of our culture is on full display, and it's just great to see how multicultural San Antonio is. I love it.
Yeah, we're just getting started to a very busy time of year.
You're literally on your way to an event right now. We're interrupting. We're keeping her from going.
Wearing this? I thought it was just for us.
Why didn't you know?
This is what I normally wear, Ernie.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm learning, clearly. We're going to insist you wear a mask every time, right? Just mix it up, or some kind of headpiece or something. But it's always great to see you.
Yeah.
What a fun time of year.
I'm so glad that we have a new shakeup of people on Puro Picks, but excited to be here.
Thank you.
Still with Maida and with you too, Ernie.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Stephanie.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Okay. Have fun. All right, more to come here in this half hour of the 6 o'clock news after the break.
Yeah, it seems with each passing year, we see another round of local restaurant owners deciding to shut their doors. So what's the reason behind these closures? Our Madeline Lambert gives us a closer look after the break.
This year alone, we've seen many local and chain restaurants announce closures. Their reasonings range from changes to infrastructure to relocation. Local chef Jason Dady closed his restaurant Jardine at the San Antonio Botanical Garden this summer.
I've certainly had restaurants that have closed because maybe they weren't very good, or it was a bad location, or maybe the profit margins weren't there.
Good Time Charlie's, for example, officially closed its doors after serving the community for more than 45 years. The owner says the land was sold to the museum next door. But one of the co-founders says that sale had nothing to do with the decision they made to close.
I think it's really unfair for people to point fingers and say, oh, you know, I went there and it was terrible, that's why they're out of business. You have no idea why or how they went out of business. You just have no idea.
The Texas Restaurant Association says right now is a tough time for their industry.
At the same time, Texas families are feeling a lot of financial pressure, and so they have fewer dollars to spend dining out.
Restaurants we said goodbye to this year include Bandit Barbecue and Burgers, Cariki at the Pearl, Casa Cabell Mexican Patio, Dry Dock Oyster Bar, and many more.
We just came out of what I believe to be the slowest summer I've seen in probably 20 years. So everybody's hurting. You're not alone. Everybody's restaurants are slower than they were last year.
Chef Dady describes genuine hospitality as the key to keep his restaurants running.
Right. That's why it takes that team mentality of understanding about hospitality, being genuine to who you are, and building that culture is what makes great restaurants. It's the culture within the walls.
Madeline Lambert, KSAT 12 News.
Hardin was in a beautiful spot at the Botanical Garden, a place that would be excellent to visit with this kind of weather. Any place out there.
A lot of people, and it is dinner time, so Shelby, we are a little hungry right now.
Is that what I heard?
Yes, it's not thundering outside.
It's just Ernie's stomach. Now, if you're headed out throughout the next few days, today and tomorrow, it's going to be gorgeous, especially tomorrow. For trick-or-treating on the earlier side, if you have some younger kiddos, it's still going to be beautiful. Temperatures staying in the 70s, peak temperature about the mid-70s, about 77 degrees. But what we're watching is some cooler temperatures still lingering. This morning, we got to 41 degrees. Our peak temperature was 72, so that's about a 31-degree difference. Will this cooler temperatures and the cooler mornings continue for us in San Antonio? I'll break it down for you coming up after the break.
Okay, we're back. I took my son to cross-country practice this morning at 6:30.
Yeah.
And I cannot repeat what he said when he walked outside this morning at 6 a.m. And I dropped him off and stayed in the warm vehicle.
I mean,
go run. Warm yourself up.
It was fairly cold, not only for us, but a lot of people. We've been so used to the heat that something sitting in the 40s can be quite shocking to some folks. But I want to go back to Tuesday to show you the difference of that cold front. Before it came through, we were sitting in San Antonio, yes, close to average, but all of that warm air was going all throughout portions of the country. And today we were sitting fairly chilly. In fact, we were sitting below our monthly average. Now, tomorrow morning, temperatures are still going to be a little on the cooler side. I am going to take this little query just to kind of show you what we're expecting as you're waking up tomorrow morning. In San Antonio, temperatures are normally a few degrees warmer than, let's say, out in Kerrville or even closer to Lakey, because they have so many buildings in the city that there's so much of the cement and the glass to really keep that little heat dome a little few degrees warmer. So San Antonio might be a few degrees warmer than Lakey or even Bernie, still getting into the 30s tomorrow morning. But in the afternoon, we're still seeing the temperatures warm up into the 70s and the upper 70s closer to the city, closer to the north and to the west, closer to the hill country, still sitting in the low 70s. But this weekend, we are still going to see more of the same for the temperatures. But what we're watching on Saturday is that possibility of a quick shower. We are still going to see more cloud coverage, so our temperatures in the morning are going to be in the upper 50s and low 60s. But then Sunday is going to be very beautiful, but you don't need to cancel or change any of your weekend plans. Here's a look at that futurecast. For us today and tomorrow, still maintaining those mostly clear skies, allowing our temperatures to get on the cooler side like I mentioned earlier. But what we're watching is tomorrow night, just to the north, near Oklahoma City, there's going to be a weak cool front moving through. Normally with these cool fronts, you either get the ones that give us those colder temperatures, much like what we saw Tuesday and Wednesday, or you get the ones that bring on the rain. And this is the one we're watching to bring some rain chances, especially as we go throughout Saturday. But what we're watching is not necessarily a big washout for most of South Central Texas. It is going to be maybe a quick sprinkle, maybe a quick splash and dash in the afternoon. And really by the evening hours and into Sunday, all of that cloud coverage and a little bit of that moisture associated with that cool front is going to be moving through, leaving us with just the clear skies as we go into Sunday afternoon for most of us. Now, Hurricane Melissa, still a Category 2 hurricane just to the southwest of Bermuda, still producing 105-mile-per-hour winds. Now, the good news is it's not expected to really have direct impact to the eastern seaboard, but all of that little blue in that cloud coverage, some of that is associated with the tropical moisture associated with Melissa that also has been bringing rain. But already by Saturday morning, it's already up closer to Nova Scotia and Canada and really continuing to get closer and further away from the United States, but still producing 105-mile-per-hour winds for just to the south and to the west of Bermuda. Now for us, really Saturday's the only rain chances we're expecting over the next 7 days, which isn't necessarily good considering we're still in that drought. But for Halloween and even for this weekend, as we fall back with the time change and daylight savings, temperatures in the mornings are still staying fairly fallish, with our peak temperatures starting to slowly increase back up to the upper 70s by this weekend and next week. But otherwise, still gorgeous, and you can still go out and enjoy your evening, guys.
All right, Shelby, thank you.
Fantastic. All right, let's get a look at what's coming up tonight on ABC Primetime at 7 o'clock. It is 911 Nashville, followed by Grey's Anatomy at 9. And then, of course, we hope you'll stick around for the night beat at 10. We'll be back.
We got UTSA football happening tonight. We've got the Spurs happening tonight. Plenty to talk about on KSAT Sports Now.
Thank goodness we have a sports show to do it, and we have Larry Ramirez to talk about it. Hello, sir.
Hello, guys. Yeah, we have a lot of sports going on tonight. We're going to start off with the San Antonio Spurs. They are home tonight taking on the Miami Heat. Spurs are going to go 5-0 for the first time to start a season in franchise history, and they say they owe some of their early success to film study. Julian Champagny will have more on that. ESPN Sports Center was on the campus at UTSA earlier today, and that's because UTSA is playing at the Alamo Dome right now in an American Conference game against Tulane. RJ Marquez was on campus today at UTSA, and he got to talk with one of the Sports Center anchors. We've also got your San Antonio FC preview. They made the playoffs, winning their very last game of the season win to get in, and that's exactly what they did, and now they face a very tough test in the first round of the playoffs. We're also talking big game coverage, our game of the week, which is Ty-Veed Alamo Heights. We've got your list of BGC games for tonight, and we've also got your Halloween edition of Bleacher Buzz. We'll be right back.
All right, let's take a look at traffic once again before we go here. We showed you this earlier, 281 south at the Quarry. Traffic looks a little bit lighter, but still a whole lot of taillights. Very slow going southbound 281 near the Quarry. Shelby.
As you're waking up tomorrow, still expect temperatures about 43 degrees, seeing those clear skies persist throughout most of the day. Instead of being near 80 at lunchtime, we're near 70 degrees, still seeing temperatures, peak temperature about 77 degrees. Great trick-or-treating forecast tomorrow evening with rain chances returning on Saturday.
Thanks, Shelby.
Okay.
Thanks for watching the Music City.
We'll see you tonight at 10 for the Night Beat. Good night.